Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. And this case has been recommended throughout the years of me doing Mystery Mystic readings. And most recently, a subscriber, Ellen R., had suggested it. I think I put up a poll or something like that, and she suggested this case. She was like, there's this case, and when she mentioned the name, I was like, oh yes, I know about this one. I do. This is the story, the reading of Asha Degree, a 9-year-old who went missing on February 14th, 2000 from Shelby, North Carolina. It was on a cold, rainy night in Shelby, North Carolina, that a little girl named Asha left the warmth of her home with a packed backpack and set out into the night, being seen as late as 2:30 in the morning walking along Route 18. A few passersby mentioned seeing her, and even a couple turned to see if she needed help. But she darted into the woods. The mystery of what caused Asha to leave home and ultimately what happened to her has confounded those close to her and the investigations for a long time. However, recently there has been a big break in the case after these long 24 years. And her family has always held out hope that she may be still alive. But police have recently indicated that they believe Asha was her life was taken, all right? So DNA on some of her items has linked her to a house near where she was last seen. 2 people have been identified as having a DNA link to her items and the mysterious green vehicle that was thought to have been seen on the night Asha went missing. And that was recently towed from a residence that's linked to someone in the home with the DNA, right? 2 suspects have also been officially named, but they're not the ones who have the DNA matches. There are still big questions that remain, and we're going to explore it during this multi-video series for Asha's case. This is a sprawling cold case, and I decided to break up the reading and create its own playlist. As updates come about, we may do future readings beyond what I embark on this week and next week. It should be noted that everyone mentioned in these videos are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And please bear that in mind when leaving comments. All right, friends, we got so much to cover. Let's get started. Okay, so we are looking at the energies surrounding Asha Degree, seeing what spirit, storm, what spirit can tell us or reveal to us about Asha's case. I mean, for example, we don't even understand why she left the house. Spider. Like, did she know these folks? Had she encountered these folks before, or was this like a chance encounter? Let me shuffle that. I'll zoom in just a moment. I just want to make sure I get the cards that we need. Crow. This is Asha, little Asha, poor family. We have house. Okay, pipe. Dragon. Flower. That's interesting. Okay. Let us zoom in now so we can get a closer view of these here cards. This goes without saying, right? We know of the night there was a wild storm that was going on, that Asha went out into this storm. However, the storm also probably is talking about turbulent times, or for Asha feeling like turbulent times. Troubled emotions. She was troubled. We have here danger. Now, from what I gather, it was, aside from the power outage with Asha's case, at her, like what preceded her disappearing, it sounded normal, right? The kids would take their Sunday night bath, preparing for the next school day. You know, the mom is doing all of that. But it's interesting to me that we have storm over the house card. Was there something troubling Asha to the point where she just wanted to get away? She was willing to risk leaving the safety of her home to go out into the wild. You know, that's what I'm picking up here, that there was something very turbulent. Could be maybe she heard harsh words, or maybe she felt unsettled about something that happened earlier in the day or earlier in the weekend. But nevertheless, she was dealing with turbulent times, troubled emotions. Now, the Spider card. If you all have been watching my mystery mystic readings, and particularly, you know, looking at the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, this card does come up from time to time. This Spider card. And this is about strong and powerful female energies, carefully designing one's life. This card is multifaceted. This could be maybe, and this is, you know, all alleged that we're talking about, but in terms of what may have triggered Asha to leave or be motivated, is maybe words from her mother. You know, it could have even been well-meaning words from her mother, but it sparked something that set Asha into motion to carefully construct this. She has thought about this in the past, about leaving and going off on her own and seeing what she could do with her young self out in the world. She has carefully thought about it, and this felt like the opportune time to go out. That is what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling and sensing with Asha. Like, that's why she left. Now, this card is, like I said, multi-meanings, multi-points in what happened. There's a strong and powerful female entity that was planning, or part of a plan, to do something, I don't know how else to say it, to do something, we'll talk about it more with the dragon card, something devious. It could be a plan to cover up a crime, certainly, but it also could be a plan to orchestrate a crime. And I'm not talking about her mom. I'm talking about those who are in the know or involved in what happened to Asha. So this is one of those cards that comes up when we're dealing with multiple different facets of a similar coin, right? Or ring or diamond. There's different facets, same diamond. Spider card. Now we have the eye card. This can indicate the witnesses saw or laid eyes on key information. And that is the one thing that's been really good about Asha's case. Yes, it's cold, and yes, it's old, but there was witness testimony that had seen and bore witness to that vehicle and to potentially the person or persons that are responsible. There's also eyewitnesses to the cover-up. Okay? The eye card represents knowledge, inside knowledge, vigilance, someone being very vigilant or on standby, right? Bearing witness. Someone also may later down the line give testimony, their honest testimony about what they've seen in terms of a cover-up. So we see that here with this eye card. Crow. Crow. Let me see. This is an omen of bad news. Someone bore witness to this bad omen. Moving, another key phrase to the crow card is moving from place to place. Criminal activity. This could have been someone who is in the know, seeing ongoing criminal activity, not just surrounding Asha's case, but other cases, other situations as well for a long period of time. Could be allegedly one of the children in the home that can account for many instances of criminal activity that they bore witness to. In addition, this witness, key witnesses, key testimony that will be coming down the line is about what they saw as it relates to, or what they know about what happened to Asha and the cover-up that followed. Bad news. Also, this feels like a lookout. Like, was somebody a lookout? Looking out for a opportunity and then reporting back? You all let me know what you think the crow card can mean. It also can represent or mean the omen of death, right? Someone knowing, being in the know, lookout, knowing this was impending, this was coming up. Now we look at the house card. And I talked about the house card here under the storm, but like many cards, as my fellow readers will tell you, it can, touch upon different areas, the cards, right? Depending on what card they're sitting next to, depending on what my intuition is picking up on. So let's talk about the house card. The key meanings, I'm going to read them to you. It says, having a sense of personal identity, family, stability, a safe place. She was willing to leave her sanctuary, her safe place, because of turbulent emotions that got the best of her. But she had thought about leaving in the past. Fantasize. And here's the thing. I don't know if you all remember when you were children. Do you ever remember thinking about running away? Be honest. Even if you had a great home life, has it ever crossed your mind? And many of us can relate to little Asha's wanting to just go out and be on her own, reclaiming a sense of self. That's what the house card also represents. It says having a sense of personal identity. So now we see what motivated her to go out into the storm. Let's look at this pipe card. And I think the pipe card is an interesting one to come up next to the house card. And I'll tell you why. So the pipe card is trying to tell us, it's not like, oh, she's being abused or anything like that. I know that there has been a lot of attention throughout the years on Asha's parents. Like, what did they know? And by and large, everybody can agree that the parents are very much likely not involved or in the know. And for me, this card signifies and affirms that. Aside from the turbulent times and turbulent emotions, and I'm also, Spirit is telling me, even though Asha was young, she was starting to enter, how do I say this? I guess prepubescent, where you're having your emotions are heightened, everything, you're kind of getting ultra sensitive as young girls do, but well before they really start to develop, there's these mood swings. And so that's why I felt like she's thought about this before. She was otherwise it was generally a peaceful situation in her home life, is what this card is telling me. Tranquil times, tranquil environment, contentment, okay? All the comforts of home, spirituality. So that's interesting to me that Spirit wanted to reveal that to us. If there was anybody who comes here watching this video doubting, what was going on at the home life that caused her to go out into the storm, it's like Spirit wanted to clear that up and talk about that. Thank you, Spirit. So now we have the Dragon card. Dragon. This card is about magnificent power and strength, honor, a guardian, good fortune. And look at this. It's sitting underneath the dragon. The dragon is sitting underneath the eye card and next to the flower. And this is telling me that somebody is going to have to be very strong down the line. Someone who witnessed or knows or in the know about what happened to Asha, maybe even where she is, and also the cover-up that ensued thereafter. They know, and it's going to take courage, bravery, magnificent power. Someone who identifies as a guardian. But it can bode well, sitting underneath the eye card, that a witness will find the strength down the line. Hopefully, right? We pray for that. To really illuminate what transpired with this beautiful little flower, right? When I saw the flower card, I thought of Asha. Her innocence, right? Her beauty. Just sitting with it for a moment. Blossoming abilities or potential. Yeah. That they should have been a guardian and not imposing criminal activity against her. And it's really just, it's not just her innocence or beauty that was marred and scarred by what happened to her. There were other young people affected for decades to come. Some people slept easy at night, particularly someone who kind of is a part of the orchestration of all of this. But everybody else, young people especially, were affected. Someone's guardian is responsible. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. You all let me know in the comment section, what do you think these cards are speaking to as it relates to Asha's case? We're going to move on to the next deck. Be right back. All right, so we're going to work with the Divine Shadow Oracle. See the shadow aspects of the persons or persons, burdens, in the know or involved, or even Asha and her family. Sometimes it insecures, it picks up on all sorts of energies, shadow facing energies. Domineering. Anything else, Spirit? Confusion, desperation, trauma. Okay. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit or scoot this down a smidge. Okay. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Sorry for moving the tripod. Okay. We have burdens, insecurity, domineering, confusion, desperation, and trauma. Burdens. Somebody was burdened by this truth. Somebody burdened inside of a home. Not maybe Asha's home, but burdened. Confused as to, I feel like confusion when some people, key people who were involved got home. Ruckus and confusion and heightened anxiety. And that's what I was talking about earlier, the kids bearing witness, knowing some things allegedly. And I'm not talking about Asha's brother. I'm talking about there's children who now are adults And that ties in with what we have learned so far about the family who owns that residence, who owns that car, that green car. Now, burdens also speaks to Asha's energies. We have burdens, insecurities, confusion, and desperation. You have to bear in mind, she's walking, it's dark, it's rainy, it's probably getting really cold, it's February. And at some point, she gets desperate. She's a little confused, but she's trusting at this point. She's desperate more so than anything. And so when the car pulls over, she's looking at a youthful face, feeling safe. I haven't felt yet a connection. We'll see what the other oracle cards say. You know, sometimes they tell a different story than what I'm initially seeing in these set of cards. But right now, I am not picking up on she really knew these people, or maybe she thought she knew them, like a distant acquaintance type of deal. That's what I'm picking up on, that it was desperate times. Maybe she's seen that vehicle in the area, and it just, you see the crow moving from place to place. She's seen that vehicle before, and, you know, it's a small town. That home is near, not too far where she lives. So that presumably you can assume that she's seen that car over and over in the neighborhood. And it gave her a false sense of security. But she got in and she was confused. There was instantly a domineering presence who caused trauma. Domineering. And someone's been domineering their whole life. Domineering characters involved. One ringleader, and then them doing like a negative influence on others. And intimidation. And lots of intimidation over the years and decades with these people. But that out of desperation for her to get out of the rain, out of the elements, trusting that this car was always in the area. She's seen that. She's a little girl. She picks up on that. Seeing a youthful face in the vehicle, she felt like it was safe. She was desperate, but it led to trauma on that night. Okay? Or morning. It was actually the wee hours of the morning that this happened. All right, I'll be right back. So, because law enforcement is presuming that she is deceased, Asha's deceased, and I'm so sorry. And for her family, my condolences. You know, if that is definitely the case, all signs point to that's the case, but, you know, it doesn't hurt any less. So I'm going to use this deck, this oracle deck here. And we're just looking for additional insights, information as to perhaps why this was done, or did she know these people, ruling it one way or the other out. We're also going to be doing tarot readings, so I'm going to be breaking it up into multiple videos. Okay. Okay, I'm going to shuffle. So far we've got the perp is out of the area. Now, one of the people whose DNA came up or identified, he's deceased. So, I mean, that could very well be him. The perp is out of the area. I mean, what? Look how we're looking at the world and, you know, and it's honing on this area, but really and truly, he's like off this planet. Or it could be that the person who is responsible no longer lives in the area, like one of the key players no longer lives in the area of Shelby, North Carolina. Okay. Oh. Okay, it says dating history or perp knew of victim. So there's this sense that, remember how I said earlier, like this distant acquaintance, like this isn't someone who is in Asha's like friend group. I'm not picking, I could be wrong on this, but I'm not picking up on that. I'm picking up on, even when I lived in California, you start to see the same people over and over because you all are, you know, keeping similar hours, or you live by each other, so you see the same cars, you see the same people over and over. There's also some level of maybe the main perp or perps was in the know of Asha's family members or family or father or mother. So it could be that as well. But I don't get a sense like they were hanging out and all of that. Now, maybe they could be. Could be. But, I don't know. This doesn't feel very close, but we have other cards that will tell us. Huh. I'm going to show this to you all, but I'm not quite sure about it. It says jealousy, an affair, or love-related crime. I have my ideas about that and why police aren't treating it like, say, a hit and run. Because a hit and run investigation, yes, would involve obtaining the vehicle, but also there just seems to be some evidence that something else was going on here. Something else. I don't know. Jealousy, an affair, someone. One more. Research similar crimes in the area to see if they are linked. Remember I was talking about the crow card and saying that this strong person who could do the courageous thing here and really break open the case. The crow is about criminal activity, and this eye card is about witnessing crimes, knowing of certain crimes in the area. It's kind of frightening, actually, when you think about it. Research, my true crime web sleuths, armchair detectives. Maybe you know some research of other crimes in the area that perhaps can really unlock what happened, to Asha, or in even subsequent crimes that are in that area. What can they inform us about Asha's case? Let me zoom out because I realize the camera's not getting it all. Okay, so we've got time for one more My Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle reading. We'll do that. Then I'm going to come back and do a shorter Oracle, opening Oracle reading part 2. Then after that, we're going to be doing, I'm breaking up about, I want to say 10 questions into 2 question videos to keep it like short and sweet. And we're going to do a playlist for this one, this case. All right, be right back. So we are working with my deck, Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. And I'm going to just do a quick show. What are the energy spirits surrounding who's involved? How many people know what's coming up next? We have a political affiliation. When I did a pre-reading on this, the other card that came up was government and military. So there's some element of influence, political connections, government, military connections. We have the lawyer card. Obviously, somebody has already lawyered up. And you, just because somebody lawyers up doesn't necessarily mean that they're guilty, right? But because it's wise to, you're facing any sort of criminal something. It's important to lawyer up. Timeline. Oh no, our non-consensual assault. That's what I was wondering about earlier. Sad. Okay. trapped. All right, there's evidence of that too, I sense. All right. Friends and associates. Okay. Targeted victim. All right. Huh. Arson, destruction, fire. Wow, Spirit's really talking on this one. Oh, what's this one? Okay. Let's see what else. Crime scene. So. Landfill, dumpster, trash. Rival, backstabber. Huh. So, son, a male influence. Backyard. Okay. House, another house card. We have that in the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, and we've got backyard. We have addiction. Somebody may have dealt with addictions or has an affliction and addiction isolated. All right, wow. Okay, let's talk about it. We got a lot of interesting cards that came up. First up, we have political affiliation and lawyer. I mentioned before, I feel like there's this sense of somebody having some political pull or governmental pull, or the local government or local politics. They have influence, a political affiliation, or maybe they may have held office at some point or held some high-ranking position in the community that they're involved in. Lawyer. This could just indicate that someone has lawyered up, someone key to this case. I think with Asha's case, there is this sense of hope with this latest information that's come out that this could be the break that we've been waiting for, right? And I know that there's been a ton of readings on Asha's case. I have not watched not a one, because I knew that at some point in the future I would want to do the reading. And I feel like readers come in at different points, and psychics and mediums at certain points that are necessary. A lot of perhaps her readings that people have done have been in the past or covered, up to a certain point. And now it's my turn to take it from this point, 2024, into the future. So that's why I'm talking a bit about the timeline of just the readings themselves. But more importantly, is the timeline that if you line up the timeline between when that green vehicle is out and about on that stormy night, and when we assume that Asha's off walking along that route, it matches up. There's something about timeline of events before, during, and after the crime that also law enforcement is keeping under wraps, but they are very honing in on the timeline. This is also key circumstantial evidence that they are really looking at, the overlaps in the timeline. This is upsetting, so I'm just going to show it to you. It's got non-consensual assault, someone having bad intentions of doing such a thing. And we'll see how it all shapes out if there's evidence of this. I don't know how they would come about evidence without finding Asha, but perhaps there is something that can speak to that, of what a struggle. And it's interesting as to why law enforcement would not assume, it seems like they feel pretty strongly that her life was taken and she's no longer with the living, right? So what led police to get to that point? There could be some evidence of this, okay? And that goes along with that whole bit of the two cards over here, jealousy and affair or love-related crime, research similar crimes in the area to see if they are linked. We have trapped over crime scene. Trapped over crime scene. What was she trapped in? The vehicle. And there's also all this plastic. They could have found some old plastic, perhaps with her DNA, and that's maybe a smoking gun. In the tarot readings, I ask questions like, what are the red herrings in this case? And what's the smoking gun? So stay tuned. Definitely join I think you can like add the playlist to your own playlist, because I'll be, as the case unfolds and develops, and as I'm called to do additional readings, I will, and I'll update the playlist. But there's going to be a whole bunch of videos there, because I've decided to try to break up the questions for her case. And I'm not going to do that every single mystery mystic reading, but something's telling me to break it up into smaller little videos. So you'll see what I'm talking about. But trapped. Friends and associates. Friends and associates probably have been abuzz and talking about what has happened for years and now decades. Friends and associates could be involved and wittingly or unwittingly helping to have kept this crime under wraps for all this time. Somebody who is lawyered up, someone who is protected by political affiliation. Friends and associates, and people may even know of this friends and associates connection. There could even be a friends and associates connection, not with Asha necessarily, but between the parents allegedly and maybe, like, you know how they say 6 degrees of separation? Maybe it's like 2 degrees separation, or one, like it's not many degrees of separation between Asha's parents and that of those who are involved parents, or those who own some key bits of information. With evidence. Targeted victim. Like they were on the prowl, on the lookout. Remember I was talking about the crow card, and I felt like that was like indicating like a lookout situation. We have targeted victim. Was she targeted? Could have been anyone. Was she targeted because she's, like it's Asha, that's so-and-so's little girl? Or was she targeted because she was a little girl out in the night and somebody was on the hunt? That's what I probably will explore a bit further in the tarot readings. But we have targeted victim, arson, someone who could have a past with this kind of crime, burning up shit, arson, destruction, fire, destroying evidence, someone bearing witness, someone's son bearing witness to someone destroying evidence, or who is an arsonist allegedly. That could be part of like some of the various crimes that were at play. Somebody dealing with some sort of fire in the past. Maybe some suspicious fire happened over the years and people are like, what was that about? Okay, take a closer look at that. We have crime scene. Crime scene. Is the vehicle the crime scene? Do police already have that? We'll get more insights, I'm sure, from the tarot reading. I don't think I'll have a specific question about the green card, because I think it goes without saying that is involved. But is that where a trauma that we got here, trauma occurred instantly in that vehicle? Somebody also, friends and associates know of somebody dumping something or throwing something away. Someone burying something in the backyard. Another area of key information is somebody's backyard. Maybe it's that house. They need to start digging if they haven't already. Maybe they have, and I just don't know. I'm in a whole nother country, so I don't know all the nuanced news updates. But backyard. Crime scene. Key evidence in somebody's backyard of their home, house. Untold secrets and skeletons in the closet is in this house. And I'm not talking about Asha's house. I suppose it could be, but I don't think so. Untold stories of addiction. This addiction card could mean substances, or addiction to crime, or, committing crimes, or addiction to certain types of crimes, non-consensual crimes, Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's some kind of addiction or affliction we got going on here. With one of the key players, some, you know, maybe subsequent, many years later, they cope with what they know with addiction, or it could be that somebody was addicted at the time, prescription or, you know, illicit drugs, allegedly. I don't know. Isolated. Now this, I'm not quite sure. I'll be honest. I'm like, I don't know what this is speaking to. Other than she was out on her own, that could have made Asha an attractive target victim because she's isolated in the middle of the night walking on her own. This could be like, this is an isolated crime of this nature. This person, this main perp, who always was protected, may have a host of other kinds of crimes, but this might be an isolated one, but a thirst that was growing nevertheless. I was thinking initially when I heard about her case, like years ago, that it was somebody hit and ran and then wanted to cover up. But I always have to go back to the wisdom I learned when I was a claims adjuster. Usually with hit and runs involving like a pedestrian, it's just like there is no point in trying to muddy up the waters. I mean, they're deceased. You just drive and you don't, you know, you hope there's no evidence. Maybe you stop to see if you dropped anything, a license plate, a piece of your light or a piece of the vehicle, and then you move on. That's typically what people do with hit and runs, or they might move the body a little bit off the road or something like that. They rarely would just pick up the vehicle, pick up the body, put it in the vehicle, take it off. That's why I do feel like something more sinister is going on or at play here. I have to also tap into my intuitive piece, my intuitive wisdom, my history as a person, not just as a reader. What is statistics say? What does common sense say? Does it make sense to move a vehicle, or like a body? I keep saying vehicle. Move a body for a hit and run. Just doesn't make sense to take everything back to your property or nearby properties around you. Makes no sense. All right, friends. I'm going to pause here because this video has gone long enough. I'm going to do a part 2 for the opening oracle reading, and then we're going to get into these specific questions. Here's the thing. I'm going to probably be dropping Mystery Mystic Monday readings for Asha's case throughout the week. Yes, it's not going to be Monday, but they're going to be a part of this greater reading, and I'm just breaking it up to give myself some space, myself some grace as I'm doing these readings, because sometimes I feel a sense of pressure to try and crank everything out for Monday. And it's like, come on, it's okay. Kim, lighten up. So anyway, stay tuned. There is more. We have questions. Do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate my new subscribers. Welcome. And oh my goodness, much love to my ride or die old subscribers. Thank you for being here with me. All right, friends, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.